The Cincinnati Bengals just got handed one of the most insane schedules in the entire NFL, and honestly, it might be the most important thing that's happened to this franchise in years. Now think about this for a second. How often does a team get a schedule that is perfectly built for a deep playoff run? Because when you look at what Cincinnati is walking into in 2026, game by game, week by week, this thing is almost too good to be true. So let's rip through it right now. Bengals get what they wanted week 1. Home. Against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let that sink in. No brutal road opener. No flying across the country in week 1 to get smacked in front of a hostile crowd. The Bengals are starting at home, in front of their own fans, under the lights, with all the energy in the world behind them. And who shows up? Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Look, Tampa is not a scary team right now. They have not done enough in the offseason to make anyone nervous. This is a very winnable Game 1 situation, and Cincinnati should take full advantage of it. Is this the best possible way the Bengals could have started their 2026 season? Honestly, yes. And it only gets more interesting from here. Weeks 2 and 3, the road tests begin after that home opener. The Bengals hit the road for back-to-back away games. Week 2 takes them to Houston to face the Texans. Week 3 sends them straight into Pittsburgh to battle the Steelers in their first divisional game of the year. Back-to-back road games to open the real meat of the schedule. That is not easy. That is a test of character, a test of preparation, and a test of Joe Burrow under pressure on the road early in the season. The Steelers game in Week 3 is huge. Getting that divisional matchup out of the way early could set the tone for everything that follows. Win that one, and Cincinnati walks back home with major confidence. Weeks 4 and 5, back home, then back out. Week 4 brings the Jacksonville Jaguars to Cincinnati. Another very beatable opponent on paper. The Bengals need to treat this like a must-win and move on clean. Week 5 flips it again, on the road to Miami to face the Dolphins. Miami is always a tough environment, especially early in the year when that heat and humidity can wear a team down. Cincinnati needs to stay focused and not let that game slip away. Then, a gift. Week 6 is a bye week. An early bye, yes, but sometimes that is exactly what a team needs. After 5 straight weeks of grinding, including 2 tough road trips and a divisional battle, a week to rest, heal up, and reset the game plan is massive. Who do you think wins the AFC North this year? Drop your pick in the comments right now. I want to see who you've got. Week 7, into the Lions' den after the bye, Cincinnati travels to Baltimore to face the Ravens. This is always one of the most physical, most intense games on the entire NFL calendar. Ravens vs. Bengals never disappoints, and it never comes easy. But here is the thing, getting this game on the road in Week 7, coming off a bye, actually sets Cincinnati up nicely. They will be rested, healthy, and fully prepared. That bye-week timing before a road game at Baltimore. That is not a coincidence, that is a scheduling gift. But wait until you hear what is waiting for the Bengals in the second half of the season, because things get absolutely wild. Week 8 and the Madrid trip. Week 8 brings the Tennessee Titans to Cincinnati. Cam Ward is an exciting young quarterback, and Carnell Tate adds a real weapon at receiver, but this is still a young, developing team. The Bengals need to be all over this one at home. Then comes Week 9, and Cincinnati is flying to Madrid, Spain for an international game against the Atlanta Falcons. 9:30 kickoff on NFL Network. The big thing here. The Bengals do not lose a home game for this. The Falcons are the ones giving up their home game. Cincinnati gets a neutral site game instead, which is a massive advantage in the grand scheme of the season. The primetime gauntlet, Weeks 10 and 11. Now here is where it gets absolutely insane. Week 10. Sunday Night Football. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Back on the schedule, back in primetime, back in the biggest spotlight in football. Whether it is Aaron Rodgers, Will Howard, or Drew Aller taking snaps for Pittsburgh, Cincinnati needs to show up and shut it down on national television. And then, before you even catch your breath, Week 11 is Monday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. Back-to-back primetime games. Sunday night into Monday night. That is the kind of stretch that either builds a team into a powerhouse or exposes every weakness they have. This right here is the stretch that will define Cincinnati's entire 2026 season. No question about it. Right now, which primetime game are you more nervous about? Sunday Night Football against the Steelers or Monday Night Football against the Commanders? Drop your answer below. Weeks 12 through 14, building toward the finish. Week 12 brings the New Orleans Saints to Cincinnati. The Saints have been quietly putting together a solid roster, so do not sleep on this one. A home win here keeps the momentum going. Week 13 is at the Cleveland Browns on the road. Based on everything we know, this looks like a road game for the Bengals, though it has not been officially confirmed yet. Either way, it is a divisional game, and divisional games are never a guaranteed win no matter who is on the other side. Week 14, the Kansas City Chiefs come to Cincinnati. Patrick Mahomes walking into your building late in the season. That is the kind of game that gets written about for years. Whether Mahomes is fully healthy or not, this is must-win territory for the Bengals if they are chasing playoff positioning. The final stretch, weeks 15 through 18. Week 15 sends Cincinnati to Carolina to face the Panthers. The Panthers somehow made the playoffs last year, but this does not feel like a team ready to take the next step. This is a very winnable road game. Week 16 takes the Bengals to Indianapolis to play the Colts inside Lucas Oil Stadium, a dome game in December. No wind, no snow, no freezing temperatures. Just football in perfect conditions. Cincinnati should absolutely take care of business here. And then, Week 17. Thursday Night Football. New Year's Eve. The Baltimore Ravens coming to Cincinnati. This is massive. For straight years the Bengals had to travel to Baltimore for huge primetime matchups. 4 years of playing in that Ravens environment in the biggest moments. Now, finally, Baltimore has to come to Cincinnati. New Year's Eve. Thursday Night Football. The ball drops and the Bengals get a win at home against their biggest rival. That is the plan. That is the goal. And honestly, that is the moment this entire fanbase has been waiting for. Then Week 18 closes it all out against the Cleveland Browns, and everything points to this being a home game for Cincinnati. Ending the regular season at home, against the Browns, with a chance to lock up playoff positioning. That is the perfect ending to a 2026 regular season that could be very, very special for this franchise. Here is the complete 2026 Cincinnati Bengals schedule, clean and simple. Week 1, home versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Week 2, at Houston Texans. Week 3, at Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 4, home versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 5, at Miami Dolphins. Week 6, by Week 7, at Baltimore Ravens. Week 8, home versus Tennessee Titans. Week 9, versus Atlanta Falcons, Madrid, Spain. Week 10, home versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday Night Football. Week 11, at Washington Commanders. Monday Night Football. Week 12, home versus New Orleans Saints. Week 13, at Cleveland Browns, unconfirmed. Week 14, home versus Kansas City Chiefs. Week 15, at Carolina Panthers. Week 16, at Indianapolis Colts. Week 17, home versus Baltimore Ravens. Thursday Night Football. New Year's Eve. Week 18, home versus Cleveland Browns. Predicted, Vegas has Cincinnati at 9.5 wins. But looking at this schedule, the home opener, the early bye, the primetime games, and that New Year's Eve revenge game against Baltimore, this team has everything it needs to blow that number out of the water. So here is your final question. What is the Bengals' record in 2026? Give me your exact prediction in the comments below. Let's see who calls it closest when the season is done. This is going to be one wild ride. Do not miss a second of it.